Resume. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. I am your Chief Happiness Officer over here at Ladies Power Launch. And I am joined this morning by one of my very, very dear friends. She's also a transformation ambassador for Ladies Power Launch, and she is the publisher of my upcoming collaborative book. She's an author. She's the founder and CEO of Green Heart Living. Did I get that right?
You did,
and she's
yeah.
an all-around superstar. So I give you all my dear friend, Elizabeth Hill. Liz, thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here with everyone.
Awesome. So I like to start our little get-togethers, our Ladies Power Lunch coffee breaks with just setting an intention. I know there are quite a few people in our group. We've been talking about this for almost 2 years now with the group. A lot of people want to publish their own books. They probably want to be part of a collaboration. They want to have themselves as more of an authority in the area that they are working in, or they might just want to tell their story. And so I want to set an intention for today that the information that is provided will be meaningful for those who have chosen us and who have invited us to share this information with them. And also, you guys caught me first thing in the morning, so I like to pull a card just for a little inspiration for my day. And you never know what you're gonna pick. And this one says, my relationships will change when my vibration changes. And so I think this is perfect because especially, I mean, there's nothing going on in the news that we ever have to be worried about, right? But our vibration is the most important thing, and just making sure that we raise our vibrations, I think, is the most important thing. So I like to keep these to a tight half hour. Haven't been really successful doing that as yet, but today's gonna be the first day for that, right? It's gonna happen. So we've set our intention, we pulled our card. You all know who Liz is, but Liz, do you want to go ahead and tell us just a little bit more about you, how you got to arrive at this mission in the world of helping women and men have their stories be heard?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I want to talk about the mission of Green Heart Living, which is to make the world a more loving and peaceful place, one book at a time, right? So I'm really helping people take a book that's in their heart or a story that's in their heart, or it might be on the shelf. They might have actually written it, but don't know what to do with it to get it out there. And I help them to go through that process of whether it's writing it or publishing it, getting out into the world. And the reason I feel so called to do this is I have published 2 books of my own, and writing is so transformational for me. It's been part of the healing process for me as I've gone through major life changes in relationships, in communities, in conquering anxiety and panic and fear. I really feel like my life has been a shift from going from a fear-based life to one led by love. And the writing has been part of that process. And I love working with people to help them write their story because it's transformational for them, it's healing. And if it's healing for them, you know it's going to help somebody else because there's somebody else that needs to hear that story. It will help them. So I love helping people, whether it's part of a collaborative effort or their individual book, getting that out into the world.
Awesome. You know, a lot of the times we see each other out and about and we don't realize that we, in addition to the wonderful things that we're doing in the world that are passion projects, that we have a lot of credentials actually behind our names. And so would you be willing to share with us what your background was before you stepped into this publishing space?
Absolutely. So I do have my master's in social work, And for 15 years, I worked in the nonprofit sphere. So I worked for the Connecticut State Association of Community Action, and I also worked for the United Way in Bristol. And so a lot of the work that I did with those nonprofits was community organization efforts, working with planners in communities to solve poverty, to solve different problems in the community, to make it a healthier place for people to live in. And I did a lot of writing projects for them, and published annual reports and did grant writing and all of that, while also being a yoga teacher, which kept my brain sane. I have my yoga teacher certification, and I also am an ACC certified coach, associate certified coach, through the International Coaching Federation. So I wear a lot of hats, and what I love about the work I do is that I can weave it together and do work that I love, that I'm passionate about, that flows easy for me, and it's helpful still, right? It's very helpful for folks.
There's a reason that I asked this question, because I would like for our viewers to really understand that you have a wealth of experience. You have a wealth of training. You're not just coming at their writing project from the point of view of, oh, I've published a book and I know how the process works, but you actually have that background with working to effect change in the community over all these years. You have this background as a social worker, you have this background as a life coach, and all of this comes together to help us to tell our stories and basically change the world one story at a time. And I think that's so great.
Yeah, and I think what's helpful too is that writing is a very hard process, especially if you're working on a project that is from your heart, or you're talking, it might be a memoir, you're sharing things that are very deeply personal. And there are things that can come up, and because I do have that background in social work, I do have that background in yoga and meditation, I can give some of that support for people through the writing process. They might not always come to me for that. They might come with a specific, oh, I want to get this project done. But life happens in the way, right? There's a lot along the way, and there's things that you get surprised by that could take you off the path of becoming a published author, right? Like if you have a diagnosis or you have something come up that could stop you, we don't let that stop you. It doesn't need to stop you. So we're able to work together to keep it going no matter what is going on in the world or in your personal life.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. You know, it brings to mind, I was a few years ago looking for somebody to help me to grow a specific portion of our business. I'll just be transparent about it. We have been leading retreats for, as you know, Ladies Power Lunch brings women on retreat, and we've been doing that for many, many years. But my number one strength on the Strengths Finder is love of learning. And so obviously I had to go and get certified as a retreat leader, right? So I went to this woman to get certified as a retreat leader. That was the whole purpose. But during that process, her other skills came to bear. And I feel like the whole process was so transformational for me that I have grown and become so much of a better person as a result of what happened between us. And I went to be certified, but I came out on the other side just changed in so many ways. And I feel as though working with you on a book project is kind of the same sort of experience. It's not just, okay, I write some things on a piece of paper or type it on my computer and we send it to the publisher, but it's really a transformational experience. And I enjoy that a whole lot. Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of this whole publishing game, because you've done it. You've done collaborative works. You've done solo projects with your clients. What are some things that if somebody's really thinking, you know, I really want to publish, what are the do's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the nuts and bolts are really to trust your gut, your mind, and your heart, right? when you're working on a project, I think it's important that you really tune into those three things to see what direction should I go in. Sometimes people get into their heads with their projects and they go, this is what the world needs. This is what I think will sell the best, or this is what, and it's important to have some idea of that. Like we like to have the brain working and have it be logical, but we need to tune into our heart, and we need to tune into how it makes our body feel when we're doing, like, starting a project. And you want all three of those to light up and feel like, yes, I've done both, right? I've done projects that felt like I need to be doing this for this reason. And I've done ones where, you know, my heart was in it, but it didn't logically make sense. So the collaborative effort, that we're working on now, that you're a part of, Divya, it is flowing so easily. It is just coming out. I haven't had a project that was so as fun, right, to work on. And I think it is that tuning into all three, and it felt like so right on with all of those three things, and that it's been like flowing so perfectly from that. So when you have those things and you're starting a project, those are some really good signs. It's important to get support in some way, right? Writing will just be tabled. I mean, if you don't have a friend that you're writing a book with, or you're not part of a collaborative project, or you don't have a coach, or you aren't part of a book group or whatever, yeah, no one else is going to say, hey, keep writing, right? Like, everything, life will take over and you'll be doing other things. So it is important to have, even if it's a friend that you talk with once a week about your writing project, some kind of structure that will keep you going to get the project done. And then, yeah, connecting with other people's support. I think that's the do. There is, having some kind of organizational structure for it is great. So if you want to go and learn how to self-publish, Kindle Direct Publishing is what I recommend. It's what I use. And if you go on that site, it will give you instructions. You can watch all the things and you can learn how to do it. And you can actually publish entirely for free at no cost to you. You can actually do the entire process that way. So that's a nuts and bolts type thing for people.
What are the don'ts? What do you say, you know what, leave this behind?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the don'ts is don't do it because it's a smart thing to do. Sometimes, that's the only reason. Some people might think, hey, it's smart to get a book out there. People will know who I am. If that's your only reason, it's not going to be enough to drive it. Your heart won't be in it. People, when you publish it, they'll read it and go, okay, it won't hit their hearts like something else will. So, yes, it does. I mean, when you publish something, it does get your name out there. People do get to know you. But if that's the sole reason, I'd say pick something that's going to light you up to go do for your business.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And you started mentioning a little bit about technology that people can use, talking about the platform from Amazon. Are there any other little tech ideas that might be able to help us?
Yes. So I'm relatively new to this, but I'm really loving the Trello platform for putting for organizing this project, the collaborative project, and I'm starting to use it for my business as well, and I'm starting to use it for my life. And
I have to just interject here because we're going to be having actually a Trello 101 coming soon to Ladies Power Lunch Coffee Break. Just had to slide that in there. So watch your scheduled programming, coming soon.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you. No, it's so wonderful. And I want to be on that too, because there's so much that I don't know, even though I've started using it.
So
There's
Keisha's
so many.
asking, what is Trello?
Trello is, how would I explain it? It's like a platform for organizing whatever project you have. And it's beautiful. First of all, it's beautiful to use. You can pick a beautiful background, and then there's different cards that you can set up. I forget all the exact language, but you can organize. It can give you reminders of things. If if you have an email list of, each week I need to email these things out for a particular project, you can put up the documents so they're all in one place. So you can do it entirely for yourself, but if you have people working with you or for you, it's also a place that they can see what you're doing, so that you don't need to be explaining everything. It's all right there. So it's a systems thing that's really going to help businesses flow better. Any project in your life, if you were organizing your house or designing something, it could help with that as well.
Awesome. I'm a fan of Trello. Anybody who knows me knows that my lists also have their own lists. So Trello is perfect for somebody like me, and I see how it could be really supportive of the writing process. Anything else that you have found?
Well, as far as the book launch process, I really am a fan of Facebook and using Facebook groups to get the word out there. That in combination with email. So when I'm launching a book, it's a very like a standard process that I use for, there's a book launch week, and then there's like a month of work, at least a month, that you need to do before then. And Facebook has helped me so much in getting the word out. It's how I've connected with so many people that I wouldn't have connected with before. So that's been very helpful for me in reaching Amazon bestseller status for my previous book.
I have found too, I agree. I like also LinkedIn, and I do also like Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big fan of YouTube, just because people are very video oriented right now. And it's interesting because YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. And YouTube is owned by Google, which is the #1 search engine of the world. So everything that goes on YouTube also, by extension, ends up on Google. And so for promoting anything at all, even if you're not like having a big, huge following or anything like that on YouTube, if you're mentioning the thing you're promoting on YouTube, it gives it a little bump, a little boost, because it goes right over to Google. So I like that as well. I like when I am doing especially something that's collaborative, I like Google Docs, because you can share among the people who are on the project really, really easily that way. Spell check is great, but Grammarly I have found to be a little bit helpful with sentence structure and organizing ideas. And those would be a couple of just tech things that I have found to be helpful. Do you have any other hacks, like any little just pieces of inspiration that, this was one little thing that helped me in my process?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think, yeah, I would say the thing that helps me the most, and has helped the people I work with, is giving yourself permission to just write whatever's in your head. Like, let it flow out. It does not need to look pretty or be the finished project. It doesn't need to be what you want it to look like or what you think the audience needs to hear. Let your first draft be like a messy disaster. Like, it's totally like, right? Just dump it on the page. Just write. Don't think too much about it. And the best stuff comes from that. And you can clean it up later. You can make it pretty, right? But the first, just let it flow out. I'll just say one other thing. I write every single morning, and I just do like a flow, like, right? When you are doing that every day, it becomes so much more natural. Anything else you write is going to come with more ease and more authenticity. So just getting into that process, it just feels, it feels good. It's like a nurturing component of life to do first thing in the morning.
And I know you're going to agree with me on this one. I would say before you start writing, get grounded. That would be like one of the main things that I would suggest. Just take a couple of minutes to drop in and really feel your body and feel your heart and get that inspiration flowing before
Mhm.
putting pen to paper. That I have found has been tremendous for me.
Yes, and a really easy way to do that is to say, what is the message that I'm getting from my heart? What is the message I'm getting from my body? And what's the message I'm getting from my mind? And like tuning in to all three of those, that helps me to just like, okay, boom. Then I get the message, right, 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 right. And then everything else, right? You're grounded, you're centered, it flows out.
Awesome. So we were talking quite a bit about your upcoming project. Do you want to say a little bit about our book?
Yes, I do. Yes. So I love that you started today with pulling the card that said relationship will change when our vibration changes. Because with this, I really wanted to do something during this time of what some are calling the great pause of COVID-19, where that's raising our vibration, right? That's using this as an opportunity to, hey, we can decide who we connect with. We can keep our vibration like flowing and like always moving in a right way. And so what we're doing with the collaboration is we're looking at what COVID-19, not what it's doing to us, but what it's really doing for us. And what are some of the blessings that we are receiving, some of the wisdom that we're learning from this, and what we dare to dream of for our future, right? We've been given this amazing opportunity to look at what we're doing, what is important to us, what we want to use our lives for, and that's individually, but also globally, right? On a societal level. And so I get the chills thinking about this project because when I'm doing it, there's 24 people in the project, plus me, so 25, and everyone is sharing their story, their individual learned experience during this time. And it's all different. I feel like COVID-19 is giving us the message that we need to have right now, right? And some of that's shared with other people, but I really feel like it's unique to us. And the fact that people are brave enough to share this, and it gives a very unique perspective. I mean, we have all sorts of different people involved in this project, right? We have doctors, we have people that are coaches, we have people that are stay-at-home moms, we have educators, we have grandparents, we have single people living in the city, we have people that are going through cancer during this time. We have all sorts of just people that have published, people that have never published. So it's a diverse experience that we're getting a little snapshot in history too. I think will be
Yes.
very interesting to share and capture.
So I'm looking forward to you posting up on our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group some of the interviews that you're doing with the authors so that our Ladies Lunch group can have an opportunity to meet the authors basically ahead of time. And then as we come closer to launch date, which is, remind me, it's the 27th of July?
Yes,
Yeah,
July
so it's pretty
27th.
close. As we come closer to that day, we'll have a Free Gift Friday where we give away a free book and it will be signed by some of the authors. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's coming up the Friday before our launch date. You mentioned also that you work with authors to help them to do solo projects. Would you say a little bit more about that?
Yes. So everyone's process is different and what they need is very different. So I do tailor the experience for each person. Some people need a longer process. I have someone who's just about, their book is complete now and they're just going to publish this month. They've worked with me for 18 months. And and that timing was perfect for her. But we didn't exactly know it would take that long, but that life happens, right? But we got it done. And so that's very exciting that it is coming to fruition. So that's kind of an accountability where I was helping her through the writing process. She actually already has a publisher somebody else that she's working with. So it was helping her keep accountable and get the writing done. I have other people that have a book published, a book written, but they don't know what to do. And so they're really looking for help with, oh, how do I edit it? How do I, upload it? How does it flow? Like, how do I launch this thing? And so I'm helping them with that process. And they can either decide they might want to self-publish and be the publisher on record for it, or they might, if it aligns with the Green Heart mission, we can publish it under the Green Heart Living, and then I'm helping them with that book launch and a marketing process, so they don't have to do that part on their own as well. So there's different opportunities for doing solo projects and having that one-on-one support.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna have us wrap up now, and I just want to mention before we go that coming up and we'll start talking about this in earnest in August, we're gonna start to talk about putting together a collaborative work for Ladies Power Lunch. We're calling it Power Transformations, and we're inviting people to tell their stories about the transformative work that they do in their business and the transformation that they've been through to get to the point where they are now. And so this is just a little heads up. If you are interested in being a part of this project, just send me a quick email or a quick Facebook message to say I'm interested. And that way, when I am getting ready, when Liz and I'm sorry, are getting ready to get this all together, then we can know that you're interested and we can put you on the short list. So Liz, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I feel like the information you've given has been very valuable. And I feel like people can also reach out to you because you're so personable and you're so easy to talk to if they have any further questions or things that they would like to have some help with. So you all know Liz, you can connect with her on our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, and she'll be only too happy. I'm saying this on her behalf. She'll be only too happy to have a conversation with you. Thanks for joining us, you guys who actually were able to join us live here this morning. And I look forward to seeing you all again today at 11:30 because we're having our holiday weekend party today. And so at 11:30, we're going to be talking about Canva 101. We have two great speakers who are going to help us learn about Canva. And we're also going to be using that time to make our virtual vision boards. So thanks, guys. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Liz. And we'll see each other later this morning. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.